What's up, everybody? You are listening to the Think Big podcast. I'm your host, Ayelet Polonsky, also known as your manifestation mentor. This podcast is designed to help you create a manifestation mindset by learning how to think big. You'll learn how to use your thoughts to co-create your reality. Let's get into today's episode. Prior to coming to Israel, I had spent 6 years in and out of an ashram in India. While I was there, I attended Kumbh Mela, which is known as the largest spiritual gathering on the planet. In fact, I was surrounded by 50 million people, all there for the purpose of attaining enlightenment. We were in the middle of the desert, and the desert was loaded with camps. And my particular camp had 10,000 people that would gather for daily meditation practices. One afternoon, after not sleeping for more than 2 hours per night, I found an opportune moment to take a nap in the middle of the meditation hall in between sessions. So I curled up in a ball, I placed my head on my backpack, and I dozed off. Minutes into my nap, I heard the loudest banging noises I've ever heard in my entire life. I wasn't sure if I was sleeping or if I was awake or somewhere in between. So I opened one eye and I saw that the tent was actually moving, like it had a heartbeat, it had a pulse. I was convinced that I must have been dreaming, so I closed my eyes again and continued to doze off. Suddenly, the banging began to get louder and louder and louder. So this time I opened my eyes and I saw that the fabric of the tent, the walls of the tent, now not just a little, camping tent. I'm talking about a tent that fit 10,000 people. The walls of the tent began to tear. And that's when I realized that not only was I not dreaming, but I was in the middle of a very real hurricane. Everyone began to scream and ran towards this tiny little door. Imagine 10,000 people headed towards one little door, all terrified that this massive tent structure was going to collapse any second. So in the corner of my eye, I saw a dip in the side of the tent. So as the water and mud were rising at knee level, I slid under the tent and found myself outside in what seemed like a scene out of The Wizard of Oz. Metal poles were flying and cars were shaking. Mind you, we were in the desert. We were in the middle of nowhere. So there was no stable shelter or anywhere to really hide. That's when I spotted a massive transportation truck and I slid under it and I closed my eyes. And while I was in my deep, deep level of prayer, asking the universe to save me from this hurricane, I heard this voice coming from my right side. So I looked over to my right and I saw this older woman with piercing blue eyes. And she looked at me and she said in a small, small whisper, "At least if we die here, we die with our guru." And that's when I knew that something was really wrong. That's when I knew that something had to change drastically, not just in that moment, but in my life. So I closed my eyes again. My heart was racing. And I said, "God, if you can hear me, I need a miracle." And a voice in my head responded, "Just believe." Suddenly, in a matter of seconds, the wind subsided and everything got quiet. I had survived a near-death experience. I experienced a miracle. And I have no doubt that the experience deepened my faith in God and in my belief in what's possible. Sometimes when you need something to change. It's not about doing all the cognitive work. It's simply about closing your eyes, sending your heart up to the skies, and connecting to God and saying the words, "Dear God, I need a miracle." Happy manifesting.
If you enjoyed this episode and would like more manifestation inspiration, tune in every Monday for a new episode. Be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss out on an episode. What you get out of this show means the world to me, so I invite you to leave an honest review. If you want more, you can follow me on social media at Ayelet Polonsky. I also have a number of virtual courses to offer if you're ready to take this material to the next level and start embodying a manifestation mindset. I teach you how to heal past trauma, experience the most joy out of life, and rewrite your future so you can feel good more often. Simply head on over to ayeletpolonsky.com for a variety of resources you can start taking advantage of immediately. See you next week. And as always, think big and happy manifesting.